Y'all, I'm full today. My heart is full today. In 2007, I had a thyroidectomy. I had my thyroid removed. I was having some issues with swallowing, and every time I swallowed, drinking anything, water, soda, I would get choked. So I had it checked out, and I had a biopsy, and it showed that there was a small amount of cancer. So, of course, I had a total thyroidectomy. I had it removed. And with the surgery, there was still some scar tissue and some residual. And so, because of that, I have my thyroid. I do an ultrasound every so often just to make sure that there's nothing showing, there's no issues. So, fast forward, I had an ultrasound about 6 to 7 weeks ago. I love my endocrinologist. My old endocrinologist I had for years. He actually retired, and so I had to get a new endocrinologist. And shout out to Dr. Latif. She is in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. So anytime that there's an issue, or if I feel something, or we just do our every 6 month check, we do that just to make sure that everything still looks good. There's no changes. And so I had a biopsy done about 6 to 7 weeks ago, and that was here because it looked like the last time I did an ultrasound, it looked as if there was something there. So I did a biopsy and it was great. Nothing there. Same look, same images. So it had been one night I was laying in the bed and I kind of turned my neck and it was kind of felt a little soreness. So I kind of rubbed up under here. I felt a little ball, a little small ball moving around. So I sat up and I couldn't feel it. And I had my husband um, run the gamut with Bobby and Dina G. Um, and so I had Bobby to check it, and he said, "Well, babe, I don't feel anything," because he's looking at me and feeling from the front. He said, "I don't feel anything." So then I said, I turned my neck down and I kind of held it down like I was doing, and then he rubbed it and he said, "I do feel a little something. I do feel it." So then, in the meanwhile, I had already had an ultrasound done, and so I went to Dr. Latif, and we was going over my ultrasound. So I was talking to her while she was pulling up the report, and I was talking to her about the feeling that I had, that little nodule. So she said, "Well, ironically, God wink, um, that something showed it was a 1 to 2 centimeter nodule, lymph node that showed on your ultrasound." So I said, "Okay." So she said, "Well, before you leave, let me feel it." So she came behind me, same as my husband, didn't feel anything. So I turned my head down and just kind of pointed to where it was, and she said, "Oh, I do feel a little something." So we, of course, was going to do a biopsy. And in the meanwhile, she said, "Okay, this is around the holidays." She said, "First of the year, they'll call you, get your schedule, no rush. We just trying to check precaution. We always want to be on the air of precaution. That's how we do. That's how I do." So I scheduled an appointment for today. And so I went to the same location I had the last biopsy a few months back. And so I wanted the same PA, but she was with another procedure. So another doctor, Dr. E, came in, Wake Radiology here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So he said, okay, the tech told me that he was going to be the one coming in. So the tech had already started with doing the just checking. He used a gel and was just checking around. And he said, "Had you been sick when you felt it?" I said, "No." I said, "I might have had a little, sinus, but not sick." So he kept moving around, going up here, going around there. He was like, "Now, where was it?" And so I kind of chuckled. And then I said, "It was right under here." So he said, "Oh, okay." And so he's still looking. So then by that time, the Dr. E came in, introduced himself, told me what to expect. And he proceeded to do the same thing the technician had done. He said, "I'm going to double check, triple check, make sure everything is okay." So he was doing the same thing. And then he said, "Now, where was it?" And I chuckled again. And I said, it's on this side. I said, when I hold my head down, and I was showing him how I was positioning my head. And so he said, okay, he turned it around to do it this way. He went all the way up here, went all the way down. He said, well, let me just make sure it's not hiding. And so he moved around and came down, went up and all around. So him and the technician started talking about it. And then the words that everyone wants to hear: we would not have to perform a biopsy. The lymph node that I see is normal. It's normal. And all I can do is say, thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus, because I have been praying for these last few weeks. I was asking God, please, I don't want to be nervous. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to start overthinking. This is for precaution. I'm healed from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. I was healed in 2007 when my thyroid was removed. We just doing this for precaution. Everything is okay. And so when he said that, he said, well, I'm going to send the images that we took to your doctor. If anything should come up, if you all discuss and talk, your doctor wants you to, wants to go further, we will, but there's no need to stick you today. And I said, Lord, thank you. Because last week and part of the week before, I did not feel it. I checked myself, checked, double checked, triple checked. I kept turning my neck, went back, side to side, nothing. Absolutely no feeling. But of course, I'm still going to have a biopsy. I'm still going to go to my appointment because I'm going to make sure that there is nothing there. There's no issues. And when he said that I will not need to perform a biopsy on you because there is nothing there, I can only cry. I have cried today, and I have cried happy tears because it is no one but the goodness of the Lord. And all I kept saying when I was in that room until I got to my car, God did it again. God did it again. And then I was looking at YouTube, and the song that Mr. Richard Smallwood saying, the song just kept resonating in me. If you would only trust me, trust me, trust me. If you would only trust me, trust me, trust me. So I'm saying that to anyone that hears the sound of my voice, whether it be today, hear it tonight, going forward. Just remember, God says, if you would only trust me, trust me, trust me. And if he did it for me, he will do it for you. And whatever you're dealing with today, let this be a sign that God has no respect of persons. He did it for me, and he'll do it for you. God bless.